Hello, Jayson here, owner of Electrum Financial, located right here in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, where a mortgage is not a flip of the coin. If you like the lowest rates at the lowest cost, then allow me to put my 30 years of experience to work for you. You've got nothing to lose. Here is this week's mortgage market at a glance. What a difference a week makes. There isn't a lender anywhere that wasn't hit with slightly higher rates this week from the previous week. That being said, there are multiple news stories this week regarding a massive drop in rates. So what's up with that? More importantly, who can you trust? This week's misleading headlines are a result of Freddie Mac's weekly mortgage rate survey that I've spoken about in many previous videos. Freddie Mac's report is the one report that all media outlets turn to for the interest rate movement. Keep in mind, this report lags in its data, so it is not the most current data available. During more normal times, using Freddie Mac's report is good enough. The mainstream consumer of financial news doesn't particularly need a new update on rates every day. And Freddie Mac's data does a great job of capturing the broad long-term trends in rates. On the flip side, it does a terrible job of capturing rate changes when bonds are experiencing high volatility, especially if that volatility occurs during the last 3 days of the week. And at the beginning of each week, it includes data from the previous week. So in a nutshell, we all know that mortgage rates change daily. And in a volatile market, mortgage rates can actually change 2 or 3 times in one day. All while the data in Freddie Mac's report can be outdated, and there lies the rub from what is reported and what is actually being reported. Hashtag fake news. Mortgage rates as offered by mortgage lenders tend to only be updated 1 to 3 times per day, depending on the market volatility. But the bonds that determine mortgage rates, also known as MBSs, mortgage-backed securities, move constantly. The following chart shows the real-time forces affecting rates. The only catch is that MBS prices move inversely from rates as shown in the next chart. Now let's get a little more granular on MBS price movement over the past few weeks to uncover the big issue with Freddie Mac's rate survey. Here's the bottom line. The timing of the past 2 Freddie surveys was as bad as it could have been with respect to painting a misleading picture of reality. It resulted in headlines proclaiming a near-record weekly drop in mortgage rates on Thursday, the same day that rates were already noticeably higher than most of the previous week. In this week's other economic news, there were a couple of economic reports that came out that put pressure on rates as well. As a rule, rates move higher when economic data is stronger than expected, with exceptions based on economists' forecasts. There were 2 economic reports this past week: Wednesday's report on the health of the service sector and Friday's officials' job data. Both were stronger than expected. The following chart shows 10-year Treasury yields, which correlate well with mortgage rates. This Wednesday brings the potential for a much bigger reaction. That's when the next installment of the monthly consumer price index, CPI, is released. Whereas the jobs report is traditionally the most important economic report for rates, CPI is currently far more important because it is the most widely followed inflation index in the US. And as I've said on many occasions, inflation is the driving force behind the massive rate spike in 2022. CPI is the biggest game in town, but it's not the only game. The service sector data, ISM, non-manufacturing index, is a way market participants follow price trends. Obviously, prices are still very high, but like several other economic reports, the trend suggests a potential, and I emphasize potential, shift. The market is nimble at current levels and should react in a relatively logical manner. Specifically, a big drop in inflation would almost certainly push rates lower, while a marked increase could easily send us back up to the recent highs, and let's hope, for sure, that's not the case. So there you have this week's mortgage market at a glance. If you'd like to know more, reach out to me. I'd like to meet you. Thanks for watching, and if you're looking to purchase or refinance a home in Arizona, I'd like to be your broker of choice. Until next time, take care and stay safe.